No one's done more to expose the deep state than me. Not going to allow you to be misled.
What's up, guys? It's Benny. It is just not possible to please everyone in life, but it is possible for the FBI to release all of the Epstein files and evidence, including video evidence. We can take it, show us what happened. And that seems to be what's going to happen based on an interview that Dan Bongino gave last night on Sean Hannity's show. That is all the talk of the internet right now. Bongino giving more exposure to what's actually inside of the Epstein tapes, what he's seen in the file, and causing a lot of people to be angry. This is what started it all. Dan Bongino and Kash Patel saying, no, Epstein committed suicide. This caused even Epstein's own family members, like his brother Mark Epstein, to say, what the hell is wrong with this? Trump appointees saying the official government deep state line that Jeffrey Epstein just mysteriously killed himself while on suicide watch in one of the most protected prisons in all of America. What the hell's going on here? Well, Dan Bongino went into further detail last night about what's actually inside of these tapes. And he did it in a very interesting and somewhat mysterious way. We're going to talk about that in just a second. Sean Hannity first asked about the Epstein tapes in this interview. And Bongino gave an answer, but didn't actually directly address it. Here we go.
You know, I've been watching, and I don't spend a lot of time on social media, but I see chatter. And where is the Epstein files? You have been very clear that there's going to be video evidence that proves that Epstein killed himself. And I've known you long enough. If you say it, I believe you. And I know it'll be forthcoming. But when you have to prioritize I mean, when I looked at the news today, 1 million manpower hours on illegal immigrants alone, that's a lot of hours. That's a lot of time. So for people that might want answers like, and by the way, I'm one of them. I want the Epstein files, the MLK files, RFK, JFK files. But explain the priority since you have gotten in this position, and Kash has gotten in his position, and Pam has gotten in her position, and maybe why this didn't go as quickly as some people anticipated.
Well, I lost you a little bit, but I assume you can hear me, so I'm just going to answer your question.
I can hear you, yeah.
There has been, let me get to this first. I had a graduation ceremony this morning down in Quantico with a class of new agents, and I looked every one of them in the eye, shook their hands. I said, listen, you're going to do this for us. You're going to protect the homeland, and you're going to go bring me bad guys. You understand? I said, there's no one coming to save us. The Marvel Avengers ain't coming. It is us. We are in charge. We have the counterterrorism portfolio. This president and this attorney general, they have a different view than we've had in the past of the FBI. This is very important. Your audience understands this. The FBI in the past focused on large enterprise cases. You know, the Al Capone, John Gotti, KSM, Al-Qaeda types. And we are still and always going to do that. But there's a parallel track. This president also sees this border problem as a solvable problem. Now, think about this, Sean. That never happens in police science and criminology. No one solves murder. You solve a murder. No one saw murder happen, sadly. The president has a different view of this border problem. He said, we are going to fix this for good. We're sealing it shut. Everybody here is out. We are going to get rid of you if you are here illegally. And if you're here illegally to commit a crime, you're going first. We're giving you about 5 minutes to cooperate. If you don't have any information, we're going to use every tool we have, Title VIII and every other one, to get you the hell out of the country. You're not going to be here to commit crime. It is a really revolutionary view. It's almost like national level broken windows policing. That collapse in the murder rate. Thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, that it happened. That collapse in the murder rate. We are on pace, Sean, for the lowest murder rate ever. Is not an accident. Here's what's happening. When this small pocket of people, maybe less than 5% of the population, is committing the overwhelming majority of crimes, and you get rid of a good portion of them, they're not here to commit crimes. And that's why you're seeing this collapse in the murder rate. And I think you're going to see a subsequent collapse in the crime rate as well when Kash and I are done this year.
Then, after talking about this, which is an important answer, right? Talking about like how important it is to have law and order in this country and get the FBI back into working order. Then Dan Bongino's earpiece stops working when he's asked about Epstein the next time. It happened live. Here we go.
Dan, can you hear me okay now? We're back? We're good? I'm not sure if Dan Bongino can hear me. All right, I'll tell you what. Rather than wait, Dan, can you hear me now, or did we lose you a little bit? All right, we're going to try and fix this. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back more with Dan Bongino on the other side. We have a lot of other breaking news and also coming up tonight right here on Hannity.
Okay, now we get to the brass tacks. Dan Bongino actually talking about what's inside of the Epstein file, talking about the videotapes that show guards checking on Epstein and Epstein's cell block. Dan Bongino explaining what the government is about to release to the American public. You'll see 12 hours of guards going to basically check on him, come back. You'll see nobody really comes out of that bay, that area other than him. There's no one in there. So we'll have video of Epstein in jail. When you combine that with the other evidence that we will be releasing in the coming weeks, we're finalizing these products. It's pretty clear, says Bongino. Here we go.
And it's kind of a lightning round because I don't have enough time unless I gave you the whole hour, and it would be worth doing it. But for people like me, I'm one of them that wants answers to the Epstein file issue and what happened. Yeah. And I never knew there were 10,000 hours of tapes. And was it suicide? You said there's a tape, or JFK, RFK, MLK files. All of that is still coming, correct?
Yeah, JFK, we're done. The FBI's equities in that, we've already released that. RFK, I got to check back on that one. There is more coming on the Epstein files. Listen, I know this is a hot potato for folks. I totally understand. My comments were clear. I'm not paid for my opinions anymore. I work for the taxpayer now. I'm paid on evidence. That's it. The evidence we have in our files clearly indicates that it was, in fact, a suicide. We do have video. It's not the greatest video in the world. I don't want to set expectations on fire. However, the video does show in that specific block that he goes in, made a phone call. You'll see 12 hours of guards going to basically check on him, come back. You'll see no one really comes out in that bay, in that area, than him. There's no one in there. When you combine that with the other evidence we will be releasing in the coming weeks, we're still finalizing some of the products. I think it's pretty clear. However, as I've clearly indicated in some of my tweets on my official account, listen, investigations, if new information surfaces in the future on any of these cases, we're always open. I'm just telling you, there's nothing there in the file at all that indicates anything other than, in fact, a suicide.
So, of course, again, people are angry at this. Some are saying and speculating, the government can manipulate tapes, right? They can just change things and lie to all of us. Dan Bongino once again says the Epstein files confirm that Epstein did take his own life. According to Bongino, there's a video. It's not the clearest. We've seen that before on January 6th. The pipe bomber. And that the footage shows Epstein entering the room alone to make a phone call, and hours later, nobody else appears in the footage. He noted that they're open to changing his view if new information surfaces. Points to no nefarious actions. Again, the government can change tapes. The deep state can manipulate footage. So I think, these are important questions. Interview everybody in the cell block. Interview the guards. Let's have everything out. I mean, they are being made fun of here by Tucker Carlson for believing this. What do you think? I mean, our instinct says there's obviously something much larger going on here. We've always believed that. Epstein's brother has slammed the Trump administration for believing this. And also, we've covered how the Epstein cellmate was an ex-cop killer who was a serial strangler. He killed 4 people through strangulation. He happened to be this guy. So could it be possible, and Tucker Carlson has said this in his reporting, could it be possible that the cell block was closed? That is consistent with what Bongino's saying and Tucker's saying. The cell block was closed. Nobody was going in or out, but there were 12 cells there. And this really nice looking guy, just looks like the Hulk. This guy was housed with Epstein. Could it be possible that he was either paid, maybe Epstein was paying him, I don't know. Maybe the deep state's saying make sure you kill yourself or else something even worse is going to happen. Could it be that this is the guy that goes in there? Right? We're going to have to see the footage. Nobody's ever interviewed the other cellmates of Epstein. Do you know that? Hopefully that's in the file, but as far as we know, the Bureau of Prisons has never released the names of the other prisoners that were there with Epstein. And so while Bongino and Tucker seem to be very consistent on this point, that nobody went in or out of the cell block, and there were a lot of cameras between there and the streets, thousands of them, you wouldn't be able to evade them all. So it wasn't like a SWAT team or like a kill squad that broke into his cell to kill him. that it could have been somebody on the cell block. It's just an inside job, like a classic inside job. We'll have to wait and see the evidence. But that's what they're saying. Ladies and gentlemen, one final takeaway. Dan Bongino talking about his deep state enemies and firing a warning shot to them in his interview, posting actually our clipping of this video and saying, bookmark this. Here you go.
Let me ask you about, are you going to be looking into, Cash and Pam, any potential collusion between the DOJ, Letitia James, the novel legal theory of Alvin Bragg or Nathan Wade or Fonnie Willis and the DOJ? Is that something? Has anything come up? Is there any way to determine whether or not evidence was destroyed in any of these cases?
Well, there's always a way to determine that. I don't want to comment on that specific case right now for a reason. I don't want to get ahead of the Department of Justice on that. But I want to say this. The FBI obviously has the public corruption portfolio. And yes, if you are a corrupt politician out there, if you are engaged in behavior, you know what you're doing, we're going to find you. I promise. No one is going to get off. The days of selecting and putting your partisan bias on and taking care of your friends, those days are over. You know what, Sean? I don't have any friends. I don't want any friends. Well, maybe outside of you and a couple of. I don't care. I didn't come here for the money. I didn't come here to make. I know.
No, you didn't go there for the money. I can tell people that for sure. No, I didn't come here to make friends. I don't give a damn about friends. I don't have any friends. I don't want any friends. I got my wife. I got you, and I got a small crew of people. So I don't need any friends. If you want a friend in D.C., get a dog.
We're coming for you.
That'll help.
Yeah, exactly. You want a friend in D.C., right? Go get a Labradoodle like I have, because there are no friends in D.C. You've been doing this, 30 years. There are no friends here.